Today, I shall be presenting you with Bien and his journal. May we begin with page 1.
It is the 8th day of the 3rd week of autumn, in the year 3673 after the fall. It is the first time I have written in years, decades maybe. Being a farmer in these times does not require much writing. To be honest, I thought I had forgotten how to do it, but as it seems, I did not. But if it was not for the wound that had bettered me, I still would not have had much use for it. It was either write or suffocate in the boredom of this bed. It was one of the healer apprentices that told me to do so. It would help me, he said, take my mind away from my gored leg, as if the pain and the wailing of the wounded and sick were easily ignored. Still, I do not hold it against him, for he cannot do much about it, besides caring for my wound, so I did not complain much. I still fail to comprehend how the damned high impaled my leg. I thought I had jumped far away from the charge, but I do not know if I jumped too late or just too soon. The only thing I know is that it got me, and that it loved dragging me on the ground for 100 meters. Luckily, it was 100 meters closer to the healer's lodge. I do not recollect much after I fell from its horn. I remember maybe old Malk and Uncle Byrne dancing around the high, trying to get his attention, while little Bíen stuffed a torn rag from his shirt into my wound and tied the remaining in a tourniquet around my thigh. The next thing I remember is being on top of someone's shoulders, being carried into the lodge, and blackness, before waking up grateful that I still had my leg. It has been 2 weeks since. The healers told me I was unbelievably lucky for both surviving and them being able to keep my leg attached to the rest of me. They said the horn had just managed to slip in between the femur and the bigger blood vein. The damage was still bad, but they said I could start walking near the end of the next summer season. With their help, of course. There's not much to write about in here. The healers walk around tending to the wounded and caring for the sick. Some are children, here and there, that were a little too careless while playing. Others are older folk, disease-stricken and bedridden by their older age, but nothing outside of what was expected from a healer's lodge. But the man beside me, the charge of the high was less unnerving than him. Now I swear, if he did not breathe, I would say him to be dead. And the stench that comes off him is as potent as the stench of a week's-old carcass. There are boils and white pustules all over his body, oozing pus and blood. He is cleaned every 3 hours by the apprentices, wearing strange garments that cover their whole face and body. They say they do not know what has befallen him, but that he was one of the healers that came into contact with the pus of another with the same infirmity no more than 3 days prior, and I have never been so horrified at a mere man in my life. I have asked what happened to the other unfortunate, and they simply pointed to the grey forest outside the window in front of me. I have asked to be moved the next day. Old Malk came here last week to check on me. We talked a few hours about the herds, the fields, brought me up to date on what has happened since, and told me 1 or 2 of his stories. I've always admired this old fella, tough as stone, but with a core of butter. He was challenging to get along with at first, always vexing me, telling me I was too soft for herding or too weak to pull my own weight around. Looking back to that, I know now why he did what he did. To see how I would behave under the strain and anger, testing me, for he would need to rely on me in the most delicate moments, in the riskiest of situations, and did not want me to break in the worst of those times. Long have I passed his tests. And now it is time for young Bíen to go through the whole ordeal. The poor boy will suffer, but he will pass Balk's trials a stronger man. He reminds me of my younger brother, Bom. Tenacious, light-headed, heavy-handed, slow-moving, but quick when needed, and with a head too good for just laboring. Maybe one day he will get a better chance at the walls. But until then, he will toil with us. I'll make sure he keeps that mind of his sharp and strong, for when that day may come. Bíen, son of Beer, of the Beatus clan.
Thank you for watching to the end of this video. Please consider leaving a like and a subscribe to this channel if you have enjoyed my content. Please understand this is my first video and my editing and my voice acting skills will only improve from this video onwards. The narrator for the story is Silent Palpatine from the channel 60-Second Review. The artist is a Brazilian artist by the name of O Centauro. I shall be leaving a link for both of them in the description down below. And once again, thank you for watching this video. I am the Gerukian Lore Master, and I will see you next time.